Ellie has given us a more complex language, but also something concrete through which to actually make the conversation deeper and begin to make the conversation real, and actually get students to look at what's not going okay and be, I don't like the phrase assessment in the sense of you're marking it, because that's not what we're trying to do, but it allows learners to say, actually this isn't going as well as it might. We could achieve more in this direction. I've not done this bit as well as I should have done because, rather than the very superficial learning conversations which the previous efforts at learning to learn posters had got us into. This is beginning to take the conversations deeper. I'm really struck by Chris Watkins' stuff about how poor our language about learning is and how difficult conversation is because of that. And Ellie is certainly starting, at least, to redress the balance. Also, of course, for teachers. It's not just for the learners, as the young people. It's teachers have all done it and are starting to talk about what their profile says about them, and they're taking it seriously as a tool to analyse how they operate.
Yeah, it's given a lot without a doubt, because it's given a structure for learning conversations. I mean, there are a number of frameworks, a number of taxonomies we decided on Ellie, partly because of the vocabulary used and the thinking that have gone into it, and it's paying off. It is giving a structure to conversations, it's giving a shared language. So far, so very, very good. A million good reports, some amazing mentoring conversations during a recent review day with parents about Ellie, and parents very excited about it. So
I use the Ellie diagrams on review day, which is something that we have once a term with all the learners. Previously, we would have used the progress reports in conversation with the learners and the parents, which gave us current levels, target levels, and whether the learners are on or off target. I chose some learners who were on target in every subject area and who had good attendance, and previously on review days our conversations would have been along the lines of, well done, very good, keep up the good work. I wanted to get beyond that with this review day, and I thought that the Ellie diagrams gave me a chance to do that. In one example, we were able to look at a diagram and see that a learner was perhaps just doing what they had to do, wasn't pushing themselves, wasn't striving. And when we looked at the Ellie diagram, we saw that that learner was quite low on critical curiosity. The review day was happening with his father, and his father was very interested in this and actually came up with an example that they were doing the previous evening. They were looking for a television online, on the internet, and his dad said to him, did we just choose the first one that we saw? And the learner said, no, we carried on looking to find one that was better and at a better price. His father then brought that back to the Ellie diagram and said, well, that's critical curiosity, and that's what you need to be doing with your learning. And it just became a much more worthwhile conversation. It was no longer just, well done, you're doing everything that we want you to do in terms of levels and attendance. It was much more about the learner as a whole and where are your strengths as a learner, what do you perhaps need to work on. And the parents found it very, very useful. I had a father in on one and an elder sister on another, and they actually enjoyed using the Ellie diagrams. They found it gave them a vocabulary and something to focus on, to actually look at how their child was doing in school, how they were learning. And they took it outside of school as well to use examples in there. Our learners can show so much resilience at getting to the next level of a computer game that they just then don't transfer into learning in school. And hopefully that's something that the Ellie diagrams will pick up on as well.
We had to go on the computer and do a sort of questionnaire about what sort of like how we learn, like if we learn by doing things, if we learn by listening, or if we learn by like seeing things and writing stuff down. And then when we finished the questionnaire, it came up with this little spider diagram. It was kind of like 8 points, and then they were all joined together with a sort of like blue shape. that told you if you were creative, if you were if you were able to social, if you could play with ideas, if you could react to different situations well. And I was quite pleased with mine. It was not all the way at the top and everything, but it was quite good. It was no more
On my survey, my spider diagram, I was really good at the learning relationships and the tactical awareness, but on my other things I wasn't too good at it, and it made me want to get better, which has made me work a lot more in class and think more. So it's improved my learning just by doing that survey.